Hey, this is Alice on what is it, March 2nd, 2025, the Childless Cat Lady, bringing you another episode. Well, it's Sunday, and I don't know about you, but when I was growing up in the 70s, the weekends used to go by so much slower than they do. I mean, these days, once it's Friday night, you might as well say the weekend is over. It just goes by in a whoosh. But anyway, I was just thinking, sitting here thinking, the weather is changing. You know, the air, like after the long winter and everything, before it becomes too filled with car fumes and such, it always smells so good when you're inching closer to spring. And, it's a sunny day here in New York, and I'm just enjoying, my Sunday afternoon before, I go back to work. I was thinking, how lucky we are. I mean, I know there are a lot of impoverished people in the United States, and I consider myself lucky that I'm able to work and to support myself and to enjoy a lot of things that I think we take for granted. For instance, having a computer. A lot of people either have something that's outdated or they don't even have access to the internet. Uh, I used to work in the corporate world for many years until, what was it, 2005. I just got tired of the whole thing and I decided to try to start working from home. And it hasn't always been easy, but I have to say, I like the flexibility and the ability not to have to worry about running for a train. I used to hate riding the subway in Manhattan. I mean, God, unless you, this was years ago too, unless you got on the train very early. I mean, it was impossible to get a seat on the subway. And when I started working in the city, I had to commute from Westchester. I lived in a small town called Ossining, and Ossining is only famous for one thing, Sing Sing Prison. So anyway, it was my father's brilliant idea to move us up to the boonies. But anyway, when I used to work in the city, I had to commute via Metro North. So, that meant getting up at, the latest at 5 a.m. I mean, 5:30 was like a lion on a weekend. And then catch the subway to where wherever my job was, whether it was Midtown or, downtown. So I appreciate the ability to work from home. And, with the computer, I mean, we rely on these. I don't know about you, but when your computer is not working, when your connection is down, or your smartphone is not working, do you tend to have a fit? I mean, I remember the days where I used to type my college papers on typewriters. Yes, typewriters, the things with the keyboards and everything. Uh, so we've come so far, but yet we really haven't learned to appreciate anything. I'm not saying that everybody doesn't appreciate everything, but the thing is that you think about the people, like, for example, I mean, the Ukrainian people, the people in the Middle East. I mean, right now in Gaza, they're freezing to death. And, our government is playing games with giving them aid. And, you know, war is wrong on whatever side. I really don't have any idea what the Palestinians or Hamas was thinking when they decided to attack over 2 years ago. I mean, they should have known that the backlash would have been severe. And I can understand because the thing is that the Palestinians opened the doors to the Israelis and they allowed them, they said, because nobody wanted the Jewish population after World War II. They had a refugee boat that kept circling around, and many countries turned them away. And the Palestinians said, hey, look, come to our land and you can share our land, but then that evolved into a world war, and a horrible war where the Palestinians, they're not even real citizens. They're not citizens. You can't even say they're second class citizens. uh, they're not even citizens. And the thing is, the refusal to do this two-state solution thing is really ridiculous, because the thing is, if you're going to occupy somebody else's land, you should be grateful to the fact that they took you in and not take over. But I'm getting off topic. So anyway, the thing is that with these people who are suffering all over the world, hunger in these oppressed countries, I mean, you just feel for the people. You just say, my God, what would I do in that situation? And the thing is that who knows what you would do. But like I said, I'm just grateful for the fact that I can support myself and I can enjoy a lot of things that unfortunately a lot of people will never have the chance to take part in or have in their lives. I was just thinking about how growing up in the 70s, we used to my mom used to always take time out, take her, on the weekends, make meals for the week because she worked during the week. And my father certainly thought that housework was beneath him. So I would help my mom, and she would spend her entire weekend cooking meals for the week and baking for us. And, I think back on that time, it was a much simpler time. Of course, any decade that you live in, you're going to have your challenges. But when I think back on the 70s, I think of my mom and how she always used to cook all these wonderful meals and cook a nice meal on the weekend. And, you know, uh, we used to, make sure that the dishes were done. And she would watch Walt Disney. Now, for those of you who grew up after the 80s, nobody would know that Walt Disney used to come on every Sunday night for about an hour, and they would show either a movie or a cartoon or whatever it was. And, you know, those are the things that I miss, the family, the sense of family, the family values. And y- it's funny, like when you look at what's on TV, which for me is basically nothing, you look back on the things that you used to take for granted. I mean, they had some really great shows in the 70s. I mean, not like with every decade, not everything was great. I'm not saying that uh, the 70s and the 80s and whatever were the greatest times, but I have to say, a lot of great music and so many good TV programs were created during, that time period before the age of, what was it? I think it was like the real world started it off with reality TV. Hey, I don't know. There's a time and place for anything, for everything, but for me, reality TV doesn't do anything for me. I mean, you kind of outgrow these things, and that's what I find interesting about music from decades ago and movies from decades ago. It's amazing. Something that is well written or, you know, uh, has a certain meaning for you, whether it be a book, movie, or music, or a TV program. If it's something that's really good, it's amazing that even if it's 50 years later, you're still laughing at it. I mean, look, I will look at an episode of I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy came out in 1951, okay? And I still find certain episodes hysterical. I mean, come on. I mean, we're talking about, what was it, 1951, and this is 2025. So we're talking about 74 years ago, and we're still laughing, just like with the honeymooners. I mean, yeah, sure. Ralph Cramden was the biggest loudmouth and everything, but it was funny. It really was funny. and so was The Odd Couple. And I could go on and on about some of the great shows from the 70s. And I'm sure a lot of you out there have your favorites too. I guess my point is I guess I was just in a nostalgic mood and I was just thinking about how nice it was to have Sunday dinner and then, look at TV and everything. And it just seemed like to me the weekends used to last a little bit longer. They didn't fly by in a moment. Like I said, these days, maybe it's because we're so stressed out with all the nonsense that's going on in all over the world and especially in this country. I haven't tuned into the news yet, but I'm sure it's something that's going to be annoying from Washington. But anyway, like I said, I used to enjoy Sundays, used to enjoy the weekends with my mom. Um, I really never had a close relationship from my with my father because basically my father was a very depressing person. He was very selfish, and everything had to center around him, and he wasn't very supportive. My mother, she was extremely supportive. She said, "You can do anything you want." She was always encouraging and you know, standing right behind me to give me advice or support. And the thing is that I always used to tell her because she's been gone for 2 years. I always used to tell her, I wish you could clone yourself, even if there was just another person, because, I'm sure every one of you has that one special person where you wish you could clone them because they really made an impact on your life and you miss them when they're gone. So, the thing is that what gets you through the day are the good memories. Well, anyway, I'll make this a short one. I just wanted to reach out and say hello. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. And I will say, you take care. Hopefully, this week will be good for everybody. And everyone, take care and be safe out there. All right, see you next time. Bye.